Hello, my name is Junkkari. I'm coming from Junkkari. Now I am going to show you our new ISOBUS display. And at the moment you can see the first page, main page, which you are using when you are drilling on the field. And on this page we can see all the necessary functions during the seeding. First, here in the top left corner we have a speed value, kilometers per hour. Then we have two different area meters. The first one is total area meter and the second one is trip meter. And here we can have these bout markers. And now we have rhythm, which is number 5, which means that if you for example have a 4 meter seed drill and 20 meter sprayer, then this number has to be 5. If you have instead 28 meter sprayer, this number has to be 7. But this farmer has 20 meter sprayer, that's why here is 5, because the seed drill is 4 meter wide. And these tram lines, you can see if they are up or down on this box here. And this double pillow here, this is a function which you can activate if you have some obstacle on the field, for example a pole or big stone. And if you press this button, I can show you what happens. Now it is activated, and when you try to lift machine up, only these tram line arms are going up. This is quite handy if you have that kind of obstacles in your field. Here we have some alarms. This one is for fertilizer tank. So if material or fertilizer is going to end, you will see that this box will turn to red. And same principle on the tank. This alarm box is for a gearbox, and the gearbox alarm functions so that we are measuring pulses from the main axle, speed axle, and we are comparing them with the speed of the seat side axle only. And if that ratio moves or changes rapidly, you will get alarm, and after that alarm to stop machine and check what can be wrong inside the gearbox. This is quite rare. This happens quite rare because mainly it happens only with old machines which have been used several thousands of hectares. And here you can see the picture of the seed drill itself. And this function here is half lift, and we can activate that. And when that is activated, it is green. And now on the end of the field, when you lift the machine, you lift it only a bit so that coulders comes up from the soil, and also land wheel goes up a bit so that the feeding stops. But it is much more rapid or faster to use in the end of the fields when you are using this half lift. Okay, and on the right hand side we have this adjustment for fertilizer rate. This icon here means fertilize. This is for seed and this is for small seed. And this machine we have 3 Linux electric cylinders which can adjust the rate of the amount: fertilize, seed and small seed. And when you press this small box here, it turns to green or yellow, and you can see that we have here plus, minus and 0% button. And now you can easily adjust the rate of the fertilizer by pressing this plus button, or go back to basic level, which is 300 kilograms. And you can see, press for example this minus button once, it changes 20% of the basic amount, which was 300 kilograms. Of course, just the same principle on these, on the seat side and on the small seat side. You can adjust one rate at a time, and that rate which is green you can adjust. And now it is green on the seat side, so you can adjust seat rate here. You can see that with one press it changes only 10%, but we can adjust that figure, how many percentage you adjust it by one press. You can adjust it 1 to 99%. And always with 0 button you go back to base level. And the last one there is this small seat box. Now we try to put 100 kilograms, but we want to have a bit more. So now we put 120 kilograms per hectare. And go back to base level with the 0 button. This TC button here means that if you are using task controller or precision farming, so you have to make these seed maps before. But if you figure out that there is something wrong with your maps, you can always override these maps and adjust by hand the rate. And when you press again this TC button, you give command to the task controller again. Okay, these were the basic functions and monitoring with our new ISOBUS display. Here we have this home button, and always when you press this home button you go back to the main menu like that. Now we can go through these main menu buttons, which functions they have. First we have here these tram lines. First button here is stop, and then you doesn't make tram lines at all. Next one is automatic tram lines. Next one is tram line for left side and tram line for right side. If we, for example, start with automatic ones, we press this A button, you can see it here. But after that we have to choose which side goes first down. Now when we start to drill, the left side arm goes first down, and it changes after every lift of the machine. It is quite easy to use. If you are using them manually, you just choose which one you want to go down after every lift of the machine. This you can use, for example, when you are going around the field when you start drilling. Okay, then we press this home button. And next one we have here this +1 button. This has effect to the bout marker here. So we can change the number here. You can see that it changes. And always when we have two same numbers here, 5, 5 or 7, 7 over there, and you see these tractor tracks here, then we are making these racks for sprayers, meaning that we are not seeding with these rows, which spacing is normally 175 centimeters. It can be 150 centimeters, 175 and 200, because we have a 125 millimeter row spacing. And now you can see that we start from the beginning, from the one, and you don't see these tracks, so we are not making these lines anymore. And the next button is pause button. You can see there is a yellow icon which is blinking. And now we have taken this lift sensor away from the use, so we are not counting the lifts. So this first number here is not changing if you are lifting machine. This is quite handy in the corners of the field when you have to move tight turns and back up machine and reverse it. Now we take it off, and now when we don't see this icon here, machine is again counting these lifts of the machine. Then we have this setup button here, which is like sprocket. But first we can go to see this monitoring page. Here you can see all sensor states, if they are on or off. For example, colders are now up and tram line, they are not on. Bout marker is not on. Fertilized pulses, we don't get any because we are standing still. Same with the seed pulses. And area calculation is off because we don't get any speed pulses and the machine is lifted up. Here you can see all the speeds of the axles. This is main speed axle, which is coming from land wheel. And this is fertilized axle speed. This is seed axle speed. And this is small seed axle speed. So if you find out that there is something wrong with your machine, this is quite handy page to check that all sensors are okay. We go back to main page. And next we start to go through these setups which end user can make with this instrument. We have two pages here with the pillow, side pillow. We can go to second page, but first box here is to make calibration test. I can show you, for example, how we make calibration test for fertilized side, because the principle is just the same for all boxes. Now we are making calibration test for fertilize. First we have to choose how many kilograms per hectare we want to see. And we can put, for example, 400 kilograms. Now you can see that this cylinder was moving. And with start test button, we start this calibration test and we wait how many kilograms we get. We should get 4 kilograms to get 400 kilograms per hectare. But normally it doesn't happen at the first time. So for example, now we get 3.5 kilograms. Press OK. We can see that there is 12.3% difference. We press this green button here, and we can see that cylinder was moving because our calibration test gave us too little amount, so we need a bit more. And after this adjustment, we have to make another calibration test to make sure that now we get this 4 kilo, which means 400 kilograms per hectare. And here in the lowest part of this page we have this factory settings. Sometimes you need this button if you give in calibration test totally wrong number. If you want to see it, for example, 400 kilograms and per hectare, and you give calibration test value 400 kilograms. So this computer is quite confused, and then you have to press this factory set button to make it work again. But if you give these weights right weights, then you don't have to use this button. But actually you can press it if you want, because nothing bad happens. Okay, and with the seat calibration test and small seat calibration test, the principle is just the same. The next thing we can do here is these tram lines, and we have 3 different options. We have symmetric ones, so we are using both clutches on the machine on the left hand side and on the right hand side. We can use only left hand side clutches or right hand side clutches. But normally we are using these symmetric ones because it is quite difficult to use these asymmetric ones. And here you can see this rhythm, and as I told you before, this farmer has 4-meter machine and 20-meter sprayer, then this number has to be 5. But if he buys new sprayer, for example 28-meter, he has to change this number to 7, because 4 times 7 is 28. But we put it back to 5 because otherwise he will get those lines to the wrong place. But that's also quite easy to use and understand. Next button here is area meter reset. We can reset this area meter 1, which is here, 146 hectares at the moment, or area meter 2, which is already zeroed, by pressing these, either this HA1 or HA2 button. And the next page, there is alarm on and off button. This is taking seed and fertilized tank alarm off. And when we press that button, we can see that they turn to yellow, and now they are taking off. You can do it also by finger here in the display. It's quite if you are seeding, for example, small seeds from the big seed tank, it is quite handy to take this alarm off, because otherwise you get every 30 seconds this alarm. I will show you later what happens when we get this kind of alarm. Okay, next button is TC on button here, and when I press that, we saw that these boxes turn to yellow, and now they are waiting commands for task controller. And when they get this command to the CAN bus, these boxes will turn to yellow. To green. And if we are not using this task controller, we are just taking this task controller off, and now they are gray again. Next button here is like a bell, and here we can choose all alarms on or off. There is a seed tank level alarm, fertilized tank level, speed alarm, and gearbox alarm. I already explained gearbox alarm, and this seed alarm means that if machine is down but we don't get any speed pulses, we will get alarm. Or during seeding, normally seeding, if for example land wheel is not rotating, it can mean that the chain has got broken, then we immediately get this speed alarm, so it is quite handy to keep it on. And also it is good to keep this gearbox alarm on. But if you need, you can take them off if you will or want. And then we have the last one, what we can adjust here is timer for this activating of the of this button. So when we press here, there is an enable delay, and now it is adjusted to 25 seconds. You can adjust it whatever you want, but this is quite handy because if you don't remember to take it off, it is not nice in the end of the field when you try to lift machine up, but only these row marker arms are going up. I put it to 10 seconds and I can show you what happens. Now it is activated, and after 10 seconds it will go off. Like that. Okay, that was all about setups. And then we have this sprocket button here. Of course, we have some setups behind pin code, but normally farmer never has to go there, and only service guys or our factory guys can go there. And if you for example buy afterwards some options, then we maybe have to go there and make some setups, but normally not. Okay, that was shortly explained all functions you can find in our new ISOBUS display, and actually in our ISOBUS ECU, which is AEF confirmation tested. Now you can see what kind of alarm you get from the tank alarm. We can see that both fertilizer and seed was empty, and after 30 seconds it goes back to the main page, but still you can see that this seed tank icon and fertilizer tank icon is red. And here you can also see that this is speed alarm, because machine is down, but we don't get any speed pulses. We also hear some beeping noise.